everybody, it's Paige, and today's video is going to be a full face of Morphe products. This is going to be another one of my best and worst of videos. I've done two of these in the past. I've done Charlotte Tilbury and e.l.f. and Morphe is next on the list of brands to do. I had so many people request that I do one of these for Morphe. I also had a ton of requests for ColourPop, but I actually don't have a full face of ColourPop products, so once I accumulate the products that I need, I will be able to film that video as well. If you guys have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to preface this video by letting you guys know that I actually do have a code with Morphe. You can use code GLAMFAM414 for $5 off your purchase of $10 or more. All of that info will be in the description box. That is not an affiliate code, so I don't make any money from that. It's just, you know, saving you guys a little money, and it does help me out towards potentially getting my very own personalized Morphe code, which would be like a dream come true. So that code, and I'll just have like the plain link to the Morphe website listed down below. I'll also link all of the products that I'm using today. So to start things off, we're going in with the Morphe Revitalizer Foundation Primer. I actually really enjoy this product. They have two primers in this sort of packaging. This one is like a hydrating one, and it has sort of like a white base to it, and then there's also the Equalizer, I believe is what it's called. I used to have that one, but I'm not really a fan of pore filling primers, and that's sort of what that was, you know, like a clear silicone based primer. Those just are not really my particular favorite, but if you do enjoy those types of primers, they also have the Equalizer. Morphe does have a new foundation, but I actually don't have it. I haven't gotten a chance to order that yet, so in the meantime, I will be using the Morphe Fluidity foundation. This is a full coverage matte foundation. I have this in the shade F2.20. I have no idea if this is gonna match me or not, so we will find out, and I will be applying this with the Morphe Sponge. This is the shape of it. So let's go ahead and try this out. I've had this foundation for a very long time. I have the product on my sponge, so we're just gonna tap this on. It smells like paint, but it always has smelled like that. The shade is definitely a little bit too dark for me, but I think it'll look okay, especially with the lights and everything. I can, you know, I have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to foundation shade matching because the lights just make everything look better. Here's what the foundation looks. Obviously, it has really good coverage. I think you actually can tell that the foundation doesn't match my skin tone. I do find that this foundation oxidizes a little bit, so the fact that it's already a little bit too, you know, deep, a little bit too warm tone for me, and then it's gonna oxidize and turn even more like orangey is just like, you know, it's not gonna get any better. But it is a nice product. I actually am going to build it up a tiny bit because I do see a couple of my breakouts poking through and a little bit of redness, so I'm just going to add a little bit more foundation to my trouble areas, which is basically my chin and forehead. The Morphe sponge, by the way, is really nice. I like the shape of it, and the bright red color is like so fun and so Morphe. It definitely is a firmer sponge though. It's a little bit too firm for my personal preference, but I can still obviously use it and I enjoy using it, but I just prefer something a little bit softer overall, like squishier. This one just has a little bit of extra firmness than what I'm particularly used to. For concealer, we're also going in with the Morphe Fluidity concealer, I think is what it's called. I'm gonna go into the shade C1.55. I think this is gonna be my best option. It is a little bit pink, but I think the other shade that I have is a little bit too deep. This concealer has an insane amount of coverage. Like, I haven't used it in a while, and I am shook at how amazing this is working. That concealer is absolutely beautiful. I love the brightening effect that it gave my under eye area. Now I'm gonna set my face with powder. I actually don't have a Morphe powder. This is the one product that I don't have from Morphe. So I'm just going to be using the Juno & Co. Juno Blur Makeup Setting Powder, which you can use code PAIGEXO to save you some money on Juno & Co. products. This is an amazing translucent powder. I definitely need to order a Morphe one. I used to have some of their like pressed foundation type powder things that launched with the Fluidity foundation, but I ended up decluttering those just because I don't really use pressed powders too often unless like it's like a translucent type shade, so I just wasn't using them, but they are nice for a compact like powder foundation type thing. Now that our face is set, I'm going in with bronzer, and I'm gonna be using this palette here from Morphe. This is the 8L Highlight and Contour palette. This is the lighter one. There's also a deeper one if you have a deeper skin tone, but obviously this is the one that more suits my skin tone. So I'm gonna go into the shade Donut, which is this really pretty matte bronzery type shade. And oh, I was about to use my bling brushes and I already did use the powder brush, but I specifically pulled my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill collaboration brushes to use in today's video just to kind of switch things up a little bit since this is a full face of Morphe products. So I'm going to grab an angled brush like this. This is the JH04 and I'm going into Donut. I really like these palettes from Morphe because they have such a large mirror and it just helps make them like more user friendly. I feel like I typically use my handheld mirror, but sometimes it's nice to switch it up a little bit. This is such a pretty color. I absolutely love it. I just like to put it right here on my cheek, and then I do sort of tap and bring it around my hairline just to kind of, you know, make it look a little more cohesive and give our face more dimension. I also like to put a little bit of bronzer on my nose just because I feel like it looks a little bit weird if I don't. So I just like literally take what's left on my brush and kind of touch up my nose, and then I like to go right here too just to give my lower lip some more dimension as well. For blush, I'm going into their blush palettes. I love these blush palettes. We have the 8W, which is a warm toned blush palette, and then we also have the 8C, which is a cool toned palette. I am gonna go into the 8W and I'm gonna use the shade Goals, which is this gorgeous like peachy pink color right here. And I'm just gonna take another angled brush and I'm actually gonna do a different technique than I normally do. I learned this from a friend of mine. Her name is Miss Allie Dawson. And I'm gonna keep the blush like up here on my cheekbone. She said she learned it from TikTok, so I'm gonna try it out. Normally I take my blush and I go like all over the apples of my cheeks, but I don't know, I just figured I would try this out on myself. I haven't done this before. I feel like this is how my mom applies her blush, like really high up on her cheeks. So I don't know if it's like a trend that's coming back or what, but I think it looked really pretty. That is such a pretty color. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in. We're gonna do brows, eyes, all of that. And I'm excited to play with a new palette that I haven't used before. This is the 35XO from Morphe, and it is absolutely stunning. For brows, I'm going in with the Morphe Definer Brow Pencil in the shade Biscotti. This is a great brow pencil if you like a nice precise one. It also has a spoolie on the other side, which is super helpful if you don't have one like this, which if you don't have one, use code PAIGE for 10% off. But if you don't have one, these are always nice. I appreciate a good spoolie on a brow pencil. Oh wait, this isn't the precise one. This is like the triangular one. I actually haven't used this one yet. I have the precise one. Ooh, I don't know. I guess I'll try this out. I'll try to show you. It's sort of like the Definer brow pencil from ABH, but it is smaller. It's like that triangular shape, but smaller than the ABH one. We'll give it a go. I was thinking this was like the micro brow pencil, but I guess not. I just like to use brow pencils to fill in the tops of my brows, like in this arch area, just to kind of even them out and give a little bit of lift to my face. The triangular shape is nice if you have like sparse areas in your brows. It's like a quick way to get color down. But I think for me personally, the precise point is better, because what I do is I like outline the top edge and then I fill in a little bit, but my brows are naturally pretty full, so I don't need a ton of that. So I think personally I like the precise one better than this one, but it still has good color payoff, and I do like this color biscotti on myself. Then I'm going to take the Morphe translucent brow setting gel and set my brows in place. This is a really nice affordable option for a clear brow gel. For eye primer, typically I use a MAC paint pot, but I'm going in with the Morphe eye primer. This is in the shade translucent. I also have the black one, but that one's in my drawer. I didn't grab it. It comes in a little squeezy tube like this. I'm just gonna put some on the back of my hand. Oh, it looks like the Urban Decay primer potion. I don't know what it is. I just typically prefer like a thicker, sort of like cream shadowy type eye primer. I just find that it, you know, cancels everything out, gives you a nice blank canvas. But you know, it's been a moment since I've used eye primers like this, so it's fun to switch it up. Coke Zero break. For eyeshadow, like I mentioned, we are going in with this Morphe XO palette. And let me see, oh, my Morphe brushes are here. So I'm going to go in with a JH32. This is just a nice fluffy blending brush. And I'm going to go into the shade Message Red, which is this really pretty matte, like mauve pink color. And I'm going to put this in my crease. I think this is my newest Morphe palette that I have, besides maybe my Nikita Dragon palette, which I actually haven't even opened that palette yet. I kind of forgot what it looks like. It's been sitting in my new makeup drawer, but I've been dying to play with this one. I'm focusing it on the outer part of my crease, like from here to here. And then when I have a little bit of product on my brush, I'm kind of dragging that all the way in to my inner corner. Now that we have this shade in the crease, I'm gonna go in with a deeper shade. I'm thinking Dating History, which is this matte color here. It's like a mauve pink, but it has, I would say, more of like a warm undertone to it. And I think I'll just use that same brush. And I'm just gonna tap into Dating History, tap the excess off, and I'm just going to literally like stamp it in my outer corner. This is usually what I do when I'm applying a shade to my outer corner. I just like to sort of place it where I want, and then I will worry about blending it after. I just like to lay down the pigment and then blend out the edges. I feel like that's the easiest way without like blending away what you apply. So I packed that shade on pretty much the entire outer third of my lid and outer corner area. I am gonna go in with a clean brush at the end and buff out these edges. But for now, I think I might actually use the pressed glitter in the palette, which is right here. It looks really pretty. This is called Crushin' Hard. Morphe's pressed glitters aren't my favorite. I prefer Whip Up Cosmetics. Obviously, those are my favorite. The ColourPop ones are alright as well. I would say Morphe might be like my least favorite out of those three. They're not bad. I just think I would personally pick ColourPop or With Love Cosmetics over these ones. But I think I'll just take my finger and I'm going to apply this to my lid, and I'm just gonna go like all the way. So from the inner corner to, you know, a little past halfway. I'm just gonna basically be putting this all over the lid. Now that the glitter is on our lids and it's looking amazing, I'm gonna go in with a small brush like this. This is perfect. This is the JH38. It's like a smaller kind of pencil brush. And I think I'm gonna go into the shade Your Move, which is this really pretty sparkly light pink color. This is like everything. I love that color. And I'm gonna use this as my inner corner and brow bone highlight. I'm gonna go back into the shade Message Red, which is the first matte color we used in our crease. And I'm just gonna kind of smudge this along my lower lash line, probably keeping it towards the outer half and making sure that I'm connecting it to my upper eyeshadow, just to kind of add something to the lower lash line. For highlighter, I'm gonna go into the shade Extra, which is a gorgeous single highlighter. They have many shades in their single highlighter formula, but they also have these highlighter palettes, which I think are a super awesome deal. You can get like basically every highlighter that they have individually in one palette. So I'm gonna be using the shade Extra, and Extra is in the palette. My favorite, I think, is Spark. I have the individual size, I have a mini of it, and I also have used it the most in the palette. But I just kind of want to switch it up a little bit. They also have another highlighter palette. This one is called the 8S Stellar Impact highlighter palette. This one has more like colorful highlights. You've got like a purple, a pink, you know, that kind of thing. But then their basic highlights are in the Star Blazer palette. That highlighter looks so freaking good. I love it. It blends right into the skin and it doesn't leave any harsh lines. It literally just like melts into your skin. That is so pretty. I feel like this is similar to Spark. Spark might be like a little bit deeper, but I think this one might be my new favorite. For setting spray, of course, I'm going in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is a classic. This is like everybody's favorite product from Morphe. It just has such a nice mist to it. You really can't beat it. For mascara, I'm going in with the Morphe Make It Big Bold Black Volumizing Mascara. I've been really enjoying this product recently. I'll go ahead and show you what the wand looks like. It's kind of like a spiky, crazy, all over the place wand, but it actually makes your lashes look really nice. For lips, I'm going to be using a lip liner and a gloss. My all-time favorite Morphe lip product is the liquid lipstick in Virgin, which it's actually time for me to open up a fresh one because I used up my other one. This is such a gorgeous color. I'm gonna swatch it for you guys just so you can see. I freaking love it. This is like, we're talking all-time favorite lip products here. It's so good. They have so many pretty liquid lipstick colors. I'll just swatch a few that I have. Vanity is another one that's really pretty. This one's more of like a cool toned, sort of like lavendery type shade. There's like some warmer ones like Schoolgirl. This one's really pretty. This one has a little bit more of like a peachy red undertone to it. We've also got Jealousy. These are all just like such pretty colors, and I love the formula. They're really comfortable liquid lips and they're super awesome, but my personal favorite is definitely Virgin. I'm gonna be using the lip liner in Backseat Love. I actually grabbed all of my Morphe lip liners. These are huge. They're so long. You get so much product. They're really creamy and pigmented, and they're very affordable. I think they're only like $4, which is insane. Another top Morphe product. Here is the lip liner, super pigmented. They also have a matte finish, which I personally prefer because I feel like it's just less messy overall. And now for gloss, I'm going in with this gloss in the shade Frolic. I actually just picked this one up recently and it is so pretty. It's like a peachy pink gloss with a gold glitter and I just think it's stunning. I love the gloss in Boho, I think is what it's called. That's like my favorite one, but I really been enjoying the shade recently as well. Here is the finished look. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I am just such a fan of Morphe products overall. Sometimes they are a bit hit or miss, but I'm just gonna run through the products that I used today and let you guys know if I think they are worth the money or not. Sort of like the best and worst of everything that I used today. So yeah, here we go. I had to scoot my chair up a little bit because I was a little bit too low in the frame. So from the beginning, the primer, I think this is a great primer. I'm just such a fan of hydrating primers and I do have oily skin. This is just a nice basic one. I feel like there's nothing fancy to it. There's no fragrance or anything like that. And I think it's really nice. It's definitely not like revolutionary or groundbreaking, but if you like hydrating primers, I definitely recommend trying this one out. I am personally a big fan of this foundation. I always have been. It does have a very heavy fragrance, and it's not a pleasant scent. It's like literally paint. It reminds me of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. Is that what it's called? I always forget. I think I actually have it right here. It's the Wet n Wild, yes, the Photo Focus foundation. The scent is like the same in my mind. It doesn't bother me that much. It definitely, you know, is very heavily fragrant at the beginning, but like now I can't smell it at all. It is a full coverage foundation, and it does have a matte finish. It oxidizes a little bit, so I would say keep that in mind. Sorry, my hair. When you are choosing your shade, but overall I think this is a great foundation. The concealer, honestly, is one of my favorite products that I used today. I think it just is so full coverage, and I actually really enjoyed the shade that I used, C1.55. They also have a white concealer, and then I have this shade as well. This one is more warm toned, but this is C1.65. Overall, I think the concealer is amazing. It is so full coverage. If you like a full coverage concealer, you will love this. Like I mentioned, I do enjoy the sponge. I just wish it was a little bit less firm, and I would like it a lot more. Morphe brushes are some of my favorites. These have been my favorites for a very long time. However, now obviously my favorites are blinged brushes, and that's pretty much all I use now. If I'm not using bling brushes, it's because they're like all dirty or I'm filming a specific video like this. And my second choice is always going to be Morphe brushes. I love them. I think they're great quality, and they are pretty decently affordable, so I definitely recommend Morphe brushes or sponges. They're not my favorites, but they are good options. The highlight and contour palette I think is a hidden gem. I never hear anybody talking about this product, but I think it's really nice. The shade Donut is my favorite like bronzing shade in the palette. I think it's so amazing. I'm not sure if they sell the bronzers individually, but if they do, I definitely want to buy Donut. And then I also love that they have their highlighters in here as well. The formula is amazing. Their blush palettes are another great find in my opinion. You just get so much variety. 8 shades in each palette. You have a warm toned palette, and then you also have a cool tone, so depending on your preference, or if you like both, then you can get both. I just think they're really nice blushes. They're pigmented, they're nice and blendable, and they do last pretty well on the cheeks. The highlighter palettes, again, are a great option in my opinion. Basically, all of their face palettes are awesome, and I would highly recommend them. But their highlighter formula is really nice, so if you just wanted one shade, I think the singles are a good option as well. The eyeshadow primer isn't my favorite. I just prefer something like the MAC Paint Pot. Even the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primers, those are a little bit dry for me, but I still prefer that type of primer over this. I think it's nice, but definitely not something that I'm like raving about. But if you like the Urban Decay Primer Potion or the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, that kind of eyeshadow primer, then I think you might really like this one. There is also a black one, which I've never tried anything like that before, so it definitely has sparked my interest, and I am, you know, I'll probably try it at some point. But yeah, this isn't something that I would say rush out and go get. Same with this brow pencil. This is just straight up personal preference. I love their micro brow pencil, but the definer brow pencil just isn't my favorite. I like a more precise tip, and this one doesn't really have that. But the formula is nice, and if this is something you would prefer, then definitely check it out. Their brow products are also pretty affordable for the most part. The clear brow gel, amazing option. One of my favorite clear brow gels, and I'm pretty picky when it comes to clear brow gel. I think their palettes can be very hit or miss. I feel like their eyeshadow palettes are probably their most hit or miss item, but the 35XO palette proved to be a great palette. I loved all the shades that I used. Even the pressed glitter was pretty nice. I got a tiny bit of fallout, but nothing too crazy, and it just wiped away super easily. I love this color story. I love pinks and purples and mauves, and I think this is like the perfect palette for me. I definitely would recommend this if you are interested in these colors. It sort of reminds me of this palette from Tarte. This is the Amazonian Clay Tartelette Juicy palette, and they have a very similar color story as you can see, but with the Morphe one you do get a lot more shades. I'm not sure what the price difference is, but I'm gonna guess the Morphe one is cheaper or less expensive. So you probably don't need both of these palettes, but I have both of them, but this is like my favorite type of color story for an eyeshadow palette, so I do recommend this as well. And then Morphe lip products, I love every Morphe lip product that I've ever tried. Their lip liners, like I said, are amazing, and they're only $4. Their liquid lipsticks are great. Their lip gloss formula is great. Their lipstick formula is great. I literally love all of their lip products. And then I think the last thing that I used, oh, the setting spray. This is a classic. We all know, everybody loves this. I love it. It makes your skin look so beautiful, and the mist is just, you can't make it better. And finally we have the mascara, which I actually had a little bit of trouble with the mascara. I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on this. I feel like it looked good on my first eye that I did, but then when I went to do the other eye, it was super clumpy. Like, my lashes were all stuck together. It was like a gloop of mascara. So definitely not the most easy to use, like quick, you're out the door kind of mascara, but it is nice. Very dark. It gave me some good length and volume, but it's just not one of my favorites, so I don't think that I would necessarily recommend this mascara. I sort of have a love-hate relationship with that mascara. Some days I love it, some days I don't. It's kind of like, what's it gonna be? But that was today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. All the products, like I said, will be linked in the description box, and you don't forget to use my code GLAMFAM414 for $5 off your purchase of $10 or more if you decide to purchase something. So anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.